Titanic, the untold love and tragedy. In April 1912, the world's attention turned to the grandest ship ever built, the RMS Titanic. She was the pride of the White Star Line, a floating city of steel and elegance. The newspapers called her unsinkable, a miracle of modern engineering. With her luxurious dining halls, sweeping staircases, and glittering chandeliers, the Titanic was a dream for the wealthy, and a new hope for those chasing a better life in America. On the first-class deck walked Rose DeWitt Bucater, elegant, graceful, but quietly suffocating under the weight of her privileged world. Her mother demanded she marry the wealthy and controlling Cal Hockley, a man who valued her more as a possession than a partner. To everyone she appeared to have it all: wealth, beauty, status. But inside, Rose felt trapped, desperate for freedom. In the crowded third-class quarters, Jack Dawson, a penniless artist with nothing but his sketchbook and a hunger for life, celebrated his stroke of luck. He had won his Titanic ticket in a last-minute poker game, laughing as he boarded the ship with his friend Fabrizio. Jack's life was spontaneous, uncertain, yet full of joy. Fate brought them together one evening when Rose, overwhelmed by her life, stood at the ship's stern, contemplating ending it all. Jack's voice cut through the sound of the waves. "You jump, I jump." He pulled her back, not just from the edge of the ship, but from the edge of despair. From that moment, their worlds intertwined. Jack showed Rose the life she'd never known, dancing in the third-class party rooms, sketching by candlelight, running through the windy decks under the stars. She laughed freely for the first time in years. In turn, Rose showed Jack a world of refinement and deep connection he had rarely felt. But just as their love began to bloom, disaster struck. On the freezing night of April 14th, the Titanic, sailing at high speed, collided with an iceberg. The steel giant groaned as seawater rushed into her lower compartments. At first, few believed she could sink, but within minutes the truth was undeniable. Panic gripped the passengers. Lifeboats were lowered, but there were far too few. The rule of the night became women and children first, leaving many men, like Jack, to face the icy Atlantic. Jack fought through the chaos to keep Rose safe. They ran through flooding corridors, dodging falling debris, and pushing past desperate crowds. Cal tried to separate them, even framing Jack for theft, but Rose refused to leave Jack's side. As the ship's bow dipped into the ocean, musicians played their final notes, offering comfort to the terrified. Jack and Rose made it to the freezing deck. He placed her in a lifeboat, but she leapt back onto the sinking ship. "You jump, I jump, right?" she said, refusing to leave without him. In the final moments, they clung to each other as the Titanic split apart, plunging into the black water. They surfaced into the freezing night, surrounded by cries for help. Jack found a piece of floating wood, lifting Rose onto it to keep her out of the water. Shivering, he made her promise, "You're going to live, no matter what happens." As dawn broke, rescue boats returned. Jack, frozen, slipped quietly into the depths, while Rose, holding back tears, whispered, "I'll never let go." She was pulled to safety, carrying with her not just the memory of the man she loved, but the lesson he taught her, to live freely, without fear. Years later, as an old woman, Rose looked back at that brief time aboard the Titanic. The ship may rest at the bottom of the ocean, but for her it was where she truly began to live. And though the world remembers the Titanic for tragedy, she remembers it for love, pure, defiant, and unforgettable.